Welcome everyone to the Quarantine Diaries. I'm excited today to have, I guess you're no longer officially a senior anymore, but a senior slash freshman now, our very own Griffin. So before I talk too much about Griffin, just do us a favor, introduce yourself a little bit, tell people who you are, where you're going to school in the fall, where you went to school before you kind of maybe sort of graduated. The platform is now yours, my friend.
So my name's Griffin Raven. I went to Wando High School for all 4 years. It was quite an experience, and I'm going to USC in the fall, and I'm really excited.
Do you know what you're majoring in yet?
As of right now, business administration. That could change. I'm also minoring in political science.
Okay.
I haven't decided which one I want to do.
Okay. So you already have something on paper, but you can change it at this point if you decide to.
Right now, I'm in the business school.
Okay. And do you know when you are reporting for duty?
For USC?
Yeah.
So we're going to have classes in the fall, like normal.
Okay.
And then, it'll be completely normal in the beginning. And then we don't have a fall break anymore. We leave for Thanksgiving, and then we don't come back till January.
Okay. So are you guys starting earlier than normal, or is it just getting some stuff?
I don't think so. I think we're starting at the normal school date.
Okay. So I know CSU just announced that they're bumping up the start of school so they can end by Thanksgiving without missing anything. So, okay, that's exciting. You're going to be moving away from the beach. So let's start with that. I know you're notoriously bad at interesting facts. If I ask you an interesting fact about yourself, you're notoriously bad at this. So let's go with, since you're going to be moving away from the beach for a season, what are you most most disappointed about leaving behind since you're leaving the coast?
I'm definitely really disappointed about leaving the surfing and the surf here. That's going to be really hard for me because I do surf so much, and I go most mornings early in the morning.
How do you think you're going to replace that?
I don't know. I'll have to find something fun to do up there. I'll probably start skateboarding again.
I was going to say, maybe you at least got a longboard or something. You could go cruising.
I'll probably find a local skate park up there and pick up my old hobby of skateboarding.
Okay.
Like doing tricks.
So when I see you over break with a broken wrist, we know how you got it. You through skateboarding, and you're not as young as you used to be. So with that said, now let's jump into some of the meatiness here. If you had to quarantine with somebody who you're not related to, who would you quarantine with and why? And you can give me a real answer and I might make fun of you, or you can dream big and the world is your oyster. Who is a random person that you've never met, but you think would be a hoot and a half to spend, remember, 2 months of your life with. So it's just you and them for 2 months. So could go either way at that point too.
I would probably choose John Krasinski from he's Jim from The Office.
I like that one because even with that, you get a bonus of Emily Blunt potentially. And so there's 3 of you, and you might get featured in Some Good News.
That's why I chose him, because Some Good News is the coolest idea anyone's ever done. I love it.
See, my dream of your choice of, I can't say his last name to save my life, but to quarantine with John Krasinski is the idea that maybe you could recreate some of the pranks on Dwight from The Office, because that would be a whole lot of fun. Or he'll just tell you what Quiet Place 2 is going to be about, since it's probably in limbo because of the whole pause and Hollywood shutting down, because I desperately need to know what's going to happen.
I'm very excited.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
He's super awesome.
Where would you want to quarantine?
Where?
Yeah, is there an ideal place that if you could quarantine for a season that you'd want to quarantine?
Honestly, I'm chilling in Charleston because I can still go to the beaches and go surfing whenever it's open. So anywhere where there's a beach, because that's what I've been doing with most of my time, just pouring when it's open and I'm allowed to, just pouring a lot of my time into going surfing.
Yeah, my dream would be somehow to score a beach house on quarantine, because there'd be no reason to ever leave the beach house. It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So with that, obviously, you're a senior. You've been living in limbo for the last several months of life. Considering now you're graduated, how are you actually doing in this season? Like, how has the slowdown and the canceling of normal senior routine been? Like, how are you dealing now that it's over and you don't have a graduation to go to? Like, how are you doing?
Oh, it's a huge bummer. I've been super sad that like I had to miss prom and graduation, and I just started filling my time with like other things. Like I've started playing chess like a ton
Okay.
with like, my family and my friends, and again I'm surfing a lot more, and I'm doing like a lot more hobbies and going fishing like a lot
Okay. Where are you going fishing?
in my backyard lake.
Oh, gosh, you have a backyard lake. Okay. Well, I guess that
I
makes
live
it
in like
easier
a
fishing.
neighborhood that's surrounded by a lake.
How many, like, do you eat those fish or do you just throw them back? Okay.
It's
I see the people like fishing in those little lakes all the time, and I'm like, I wonder how, like, that just doesn't seem clean or whatever to me.
no,
Uh,
it's a man-made lake, so
mhm.
you don't want to eat them.
That's what I was like. I'm like, certainly people aren't eating those, but I don't know. Okay.
Maybe more.
Um, so you've picked up new hobbies. You're trying new things. Um, what is the most surprising new hobby you have picked up in this season, you think?
Definitely chess. I never would have thought that I would have been into that, but I'm very into chess.
Okay. Had you ever played chess before?
Like 2 times.
Okay.
And I
Um,
didn't even think I knew the rules. Like when quarantine started, I read the rule book
okay.
and
So
like
this is my
I
question
learned how
a
to
little bit.
play.
Are you, I, I know how to play chess. I've played chess. I haven't played chess in forever, but I know all the rules behind chess or like what each piece does, etc. Have you like studied this chess strategy at all? Or are you just the wing it and you're just playing it and figuring it out as you go? Because I do know there's like chess strategy and like
Yeah,
different
I have a bunch of
moves or
strategies.
whatever.
I do strategies, and I
Okay.
try to. I know like I don't do the same strategy, but I know that if I put this piece here and I put this here, I can do this.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm just the winging it or the guy who wings it. But the last time I played it was probably middle school.
Yeah,
Um,
I like to plan out my moves.
okay. Interesting. Okay. Do you think you're any good?
I think I'm better than a beginner.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Um, have you read anything interesting during quarantine and lockdown?
I finished 1984
Well,
by George Orwell.
that's a really interesting choice to read during during quarantine, and also during like what we find ourselves in today.
Yeah,
It's a very
it's probably
interesting
my
time.
favorite book.
What was that?
It's probably my favorite book.
Okay, I love 1984. Have you ever read Brave New World?
I have not. I
Okay.
need to read Animal Farm next.
Okay, yeah, Animal Farm is fantastic too. It's weird, but it's fantastic. Brave New World is always in the same conversation as 1984. I like 1984 better. Have you read Fahrenheit 451?
I don't
So,
read that much.
so Fahrenheit 451 is in the same conversation as 1984, in like Animal Farm and stuff. And it's another one of my favorites because it's all about like this not post-apocalyptic, but like dystopic society, and how everything hits. And so it's an interesting. If you like 1984, those are in the same ballpark. Okay. Have you watched anything interesting during quarantine?
I rewatched every Star Wars movie. I just watched Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, you rewatched every Star Wars movie. I'm sorry that you still enjoy Rise of Skywalker, but that's a conversation for a different time. And you still don't think Revenge of the Sith is the best one, do you?
I think it's the best of the. I think it's no. Okay, the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6 were the best,
Okay.
and then Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker were okay, but Revenge of the Sith is better than both of those.
Oh my
It
goodness.
goes the original trilogy, Revenge of the Sith, and then those two, I guess.
Okay, you want to know my latest hot take? because I decided while on quarantine, Ellie and I were bored, so we decided to start with episode 1 and start watching Star Wars. We just got done with Return of the Jedi. My hot take is that Empire Strikes Back is extremely overrated. And Return of the Jedi has always been my favorite.
I love
But like I feel like a lot of people talk about how brilliant Empire Strikes Back is, and maybe I'm curious if the reason why I think Empire Strikes Back is overrated is because now I know everything. But then and I'm curious because I hate the prequels so much. There's stuff in Empire Strikes Back that doesn't make sense in light of George Lucas's prequels. And so if I could just take the prequels out of the conversation, then I'm curious if it would be better. But my latest hot take was Empire Strikes Back was overrated. And it's not that it was bad. It's like
prequels.
What was that?
Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, like they're great.
Okay, hold on. Hayden Christensen is not great. Hayden Christensen is hot garbage. Ewan McGregor is the most redeeming part of that entire thing.
Is why I like the prequels.
What was that?
Ewan McGregor is why I like the prequels.
I mean, he does look like.
I only like Revenge of the Sith.
He does look like Jesus in what is it, Attack of the Clones? So I mean, there's definitely something to Ewan McGregor in it. And pod racing is fantastic. I will still love the pod racing scene my entire life.
It's so repetitive. It's the same thing.
What was that?
It's so repetitive. I can't watch
the pod racing. I think pod racing goes back to when I was in middle school. I think on the Nintendo 64 they had a pod racing video game, and that was fantastic on every level. And so I think my love for the pod racing scene actually dates to that video game because it was fantastic. But okay, so enough Star Wars gibberish. Let's see, because there's standard things that I feel like people have watched during quarantine, and this is not me recommending it or sanctioning it. Have you gone down the Tiger King rabbit hole?
I've already seen it all.
Okay, so you went down the Tiger King rabbit hole. What did you think of Tiger King?
Awesome. Joe Exotic for president.
Oh my goodness, Joe Exotic for president. Okay, have you gone down the Outer Banks rabbit hole? Okay, what did you think of Outer Banks, considering you are a Charleston native and it's supposed to take place up in North Carolina, but it was all filmed here? What did you think?
Honestly, I enjoyed it, but I do think it's a little bit overrated.
Okay.
Like, people are freaking out. I think it's a good show though. Like I am excited to watch season 2 when it comes out. Like I'm looking forward to it, but I don't think it deserves this like freak out that's happening over it, like how awesome the show is. I think it's a little cheesy. Well, but I do like it. I do enjoy it. And I do think it's cool like how most of the places where it's being filmed, like I've been there and I lived there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, let's be real. It's a show that would be perfect on the CW. It's a good teenage drama stuff. So like, there's a certain formula to these shows. Yeah. So
there's a preferred audience.
Exactly. It's back, when I was a teenager, there was the OC based in my hometown of Orange County. That was nothing like Orange County whatsoever. And it was filmed in LA, 60 minutes north. They couldn't even have the decency to drive 60 minutes south to get the actual lifeguard towers from the Orange County beaches, because the Orange County lifeguard towers and the LA County lifeguard towers are vastly different. And so all of us who lived in LA and in Orange County just went, they didn't even bother to travel 45 minutes on a freeway to get some stock footage to make it look like they filmed in Orange County. It was hilarious. But, it's all that teen partying drama stuff. Okay, so how have you kept yourself sane? How have you kept a routine in the midst of all this quarantine stuff? Or have you found a routine in the midst of all this quarantine stuff?
I'm just going to say, if I didn't have, like, my friends who were, like, talking to me every day, I think I go insane very quickly, because like I am a very social person. I like to talk to people and I like to go do fun things, but like I could not do this myself. Mm-hmm. Like I can't even imagine what people that like live alone are doing. Like I would go nuts.
Yeah, I feel you. Have you been working out all during quarantine? Because you were at one point at a grocery store.
Have I been working?
Mm-hmm.
So my dad is he is like one of the high risk people.
Okay.
So if he got it, it wouldn't be good. So I didn't work for about 2 months, and I just got back on the schedule, and I worked like 3 days last week, and I'll be working a lot more coming up. And I'll
Okay.
probably start working a lot during the summer now.
So you missed the real craziness of quarantine shopping for the most part. Um, like, is it still
I
crazy
know
in
the
a grocery
beginning.
store?
The what?
Is it still crazy in a grocery store, or has it kind of calmed down?
Since I wasn't there in the main part, I've heard that was crazy. I was there in the beginning
Okay.
of Corona, and it was nuts every single day. Like people were going literally crazy. We had nothing in the store that was like toilet paper or hand sanitizer or anything. We had nothing. But now it seems like back to normal a little bit. But like we still have to take precautions. Like we still have a plastic wall in front of the register, and I have to wear a mask, and we have to clean everything off like after every transaction.
Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, that does not sound fun at all. I don't miss
It's
those
not.
days of retail or working at a grocery store. Don't miss them at all. All right. Well, we have just hit the end of our 15-minute mark, Griffin. So say farewell for now, and then Griffin will be back with part 2 in a little while. So say peace to Griffin, and then we will catch you guys on the flip side. Thanks for joining us.